Hi everybody, welcome to another Tuesdays with Theresa. I am Theresa Paul. I'm a Senior Executive Unit Leader with Avon. I am sitting here in a hotel room in Indiana, and that's kind of part of what we're going to talk about tonight, because we are talking about walls, about our walls, about what walls that we need to what walls we come up against. I have no notes. You guys all know that I usually do this with notes, and I have nothing. I was going to do this yesterday, and I didn't. I kept putting it off. I have so many other things I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm here to talk to you about walls. And the reason I'm in Indiana is I'm here with Avon to speak to representatives in the area, and we're on a Women Empowering the Future tour. And so you guys have seen this on Facebook. We've been promoting it. Carmen Conkman, the Patriot Regional Manager with Avon, has brought in a couple senior executive unit leaders, several of us actually, to do these these rallies, on this tour in several cities. Lisa Scola, Pat Putzer, Alba Tabares, and Sue Roper were in Kentucky and Atlanta last week. Now we are in Indiana today. Donna Reed Mitchell, myself, Lisa Scola, and we are here in Indiana. Then tomorrow we're going to be in Columbus. Thursday we are going to be in Boardman, Ohio, and then next week we are also going to be in Michigan. So, and this is one of my walls. This is what about 10 or so years ago, you couldn't get me to stand up in front of a group of people and speak. I could not do it. Not at all. Now you can't shut me up. But I was really big into the Avon, building my business, doing the fundraising, selling at McConnell Club level, working towards President's Council. I was doing the leadership, but I was really working my sales because I needed the money when I was quitting my job. And so I was asked to speak about fundraising at one of the division rallies. They were going to do tables. I was going to man the fundraising table. People were going to come up to me and ask me questions. That I can do. Come up to me all day long, ask me questions one-on-one. I can talk. I can explain anything you want to know. So we get to the event. My district manager is there. She's introducing me to the divisional manager, and the divisional manager says, "Thank you." She shakes my hand, "Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming to speak to us today." And she points to the podium. And I said, "Oh, I'm not speaking today. I'm doing the fundraising table." And she smiled and she said, "No, you're speaking." And I said, "No, I'm not." And she said, "Yes, you are." And I looked at my manager and she said, "Yes, you're speaking." And I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to kill you." And I was going to kick her right there in front of everybody. I'm like, "I can't speak. I just don't. And she's like, "You'll be fine. You know what you're talking about. You're just going to go talk about fundraising, the same thing you always talk about. You tell everybody about fundraising. You know it inside out." I said, "Yeah, one-on-one. You were asking me to stand in front of a room of 100 people and explain fundraising. I can't do it." She's like, "Yes, you can." I said, "No, I really can't. I'm ready to cry now." I was seriously ready to cry. I said, "You have to come with me. You have to stand up on that podium with me." And she said, "You're nuts. I'm going to tip this over. The lighting in here is so bad. This whole thing's going to fall." So, sorry, squirrel. Anyway, so I said, "You have to come stand up there. You have to go on the stage with me. You have to stand with me." And she said, "No, I don't." I said, "No, you really do. I can't do it alone." So my manager went and stood next to me at the podium on the stage while I started talking about fundraising. I had no notes with me. I had nothing. I just stood. So I started talking. I was doing great. I'm on a roll, going on and on and on about fundraising. And all of a sudden I stopped dead. I had no idea what I was talking about. I was about in tears. Thank God she was standing next to me. I looked at her. I said, "Elizabeth, where was I going with this?" She said, "You were going blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay, so blah, 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 blah." And I went on with it. But I was mortified. And for a long time after that, anytime anybody asked me to speak, if we were at a rally or a thing, they'd ask me questions, they stick a microphone in my face. I can't do it. I can't speak. I freeze up. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I just couldn't do it. But I started realizing that as I was growing my business and as I was talking to more people and as I was making fundraising presentations to schools, which I did, that's one of the things too. So I had to make a fundraising presentation to my son's school. These were all the same parents that I could sit in a parking lot and talk to all day long or talk to on the playground while we were doing lunch duty, but asked me to stand up in front of that whole group of parents and make this fundraising presentation. I was mortified. So that was like my huge wall. And I said, I need to get over this wall. I need to get around this wall. I need to bust through this wall. This wall needs to go away. Because if I'm really going to grow my business, I need to talk to people. I need to make presentations about fundraising. I need to be confident in what I'm talking about in bringing people into the business and showing them how to do the business. So I would make myself speak at district meetings. I would make myself do things. I would make myself go to events. I would make myself... I was asked to speak on panels with the YourAvon.com thing in front of global people. We were there were 4 or 5 representatives. We would go sit down in a room full of people, and they would ask us questions, and we would speak about our business and how the online business worked for us, and a lot of things like that. So it was always scary. But the more I did it, the more comfortable I became. And then I was asked to do a video, which they might as well have asked me to jump out of an airplane. I was mortified. That was the first video I did, like I don't know how many years ago that was, 6, 8 years ago. And they showed it at the conference. It was me, it was a few other representatives that did this, and it was a short video. I'm talking like a minute or two. But it was terrifying. There was a camera in my face and lights and everything else, and they were fanning my face and wiping the sweat and fluffing my hair, and I was like, I'm going to pass out. It was so... Now, I was so happy that I did that. I was scared to death. But it was such an exhilarating, almost liberating kind of thing to I did it. I forced myself to do something that I was terrified to do. And I talk about this all the time too, we have to do what we're comfortable with. If we're not comfortable prospecting this way, then don't make yourself do that. Do what you're comfortable with. But you still have to do what makes you uncomfortable too. If you really want to push yourself and to grow as a person and grow inside, if you want to grow your business, if you want to... I'm going to get all philosophical and goofy here. But you have to push yourself to do things that you're not comfortable with too. And so that wall that I broke through about speaking, now look, I do calls every other week. Yeah, I'm behind a phone. Yeah, I have my notes. I do these videos, which you couldn't get me to take. I don't even like having my picture taken. Never mind make a video. And when they asked me to do a video a couple years ago for Monday Morning Motivation for the AUL Academy, I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. We were in California. I was on the beach. My husband and I almost had a fist fight. He was trying to take the picture. My dad loaned us his video camera. That didn't work. And it was like a 1 minute long video too. It was really short. But I was terrified. I was shaking. I was nervous. I was going to cry. What's the worst that can happen? So you look a little goofy. We all look a little goofy. Look, I've been doing this for years. I still look a little goofy, so what? But I'm comfortable with it now, and I'm okay with it, and I'm fun. I'm having fun. And so now, tonight, I'm going to go speak. I have no idea how many people are coming, but it's a little overwhelming to think that I'm going to be speaking on a stage with Donna Reed Mitchell and with Lisa Scola and talking to other representatives and sharing our story. And I'm not ready to cry. I'm a little nervous still, but I'm not ready to cry. I don't need someone standing on the stage holding my hand. I'm not going to have any notes. So, it's kind of wild and scary. And another thing that I've done to these walls, another thing that when I first heard about this book, A View from the Top, when they were talking about the project, I was very interested in it. But I was a new senior. I had just become a senior executive unit leader when this project was being introduced and promoted to the seniors. Lisa Wilbur wanted to put this together. And I thought, who wants to hear from me? Why would anybody care about my story or what I did to get where I was going? And then I started thinking about along the way, what helped me, where did I, and there were so many representatives, successful representatives that shared their stories, that shared their ideas, that motivated and inspired. And I said, I guess, and people that helped me along the way too, when I was building my business and everything, and I would thank them and say, oh, thank you for sharing everything with me, you were so supportive, and you know, what can I do? And it was always just pay it forward, just help somebody else, just share what you've learned with somebody else. And so I said, I can do that. I can share what I've learned with somebody else. And so that was kind of what this was all about. Like, okay, I can share what I've learned with somebody else. And if somebody can read my story and say, she was just a stay-at-home mom and she made this huge successful business and I can do it too, then that's great. I inspired somebody. I motivated somebody. I don't know if I do or I don't, but I like to think that I do. I don't know. But so many people have shared their stories and have motivated and inspired me. And I've looked at people and said, well, if they can do it, so can I. Why can't, you know? So that was another one of the walls. And I see this all the time in our business. You know, a representative will tell me, I have all these books ready to pass out and I need just to get them out there. And I have the bombitas, or I have these little packets that I'm going to take to businesses, but they didn't do it. They didn't take them out. I'm like, what happened? You didn't take your books out today. Where were you going with this? I did a few of them, but I don't know. And they just kind of get hung up and tied up in their wall. That's holding them back. They want to do it. They prepared everything. They put it all together. They want to get it done, but they're afraid to. That fear is their wall. Fear is our wall. That's a huge wall for us. Fear of what? We don't know, the unknown, or fear of looking stupid, or fear of rejection. That's our huge wall for us. And I know I've talked about fear before and overcoming it, but that's kind of one of our walls. So you have to make yourself do it. You're like, I have these 50 books, or these 20 books, or these 30 books, or this box of packets. You have to make yourself go out there and do that. But every time you do, you're getting closer to your success. You're getting closer to new representatives. You're getting closer to new customers. Your business isn't going to grow on its own. It's not going to grow if you don't overcome these obstacles or these walls or these chains or whatever it is that's holding you back. So you have to force yourself to do these things that are holding you back. And sometimes our walls are not just us or in our head. Sometimes our walls are what's around us. Sometimes that wall can be a family member or a friend or somebody else telling you, you can't do this. Not just you inside your head saying, I don't know if I can do this or I can't do this. But when you have somebody else telling you, oh, you can't do this. I know somebody else that tried this. She wasn't successful. She didn't do any good. She lost money. Or you can't do this. It's too much of your time. Or you can't do this because whatever. And we start believing that. And when you start believing that you can't, you won't. If you think you can't, and someone's telling you can't, and you're thinking, well, they're right, maybe I can't, you won't, because you've already said it that you can't. It's already in your head that you're not, you've already stopped yourself. And then you're saying, oh, I really want to, but I can't. I really want to make this successful, but I can't. You're right, you can't, because you've already decided that you can't. So you have to overcome that. You have to tell yourself you can. You have to think of reasons why you can and ways that you can make it work and how you're going to do it. And you can't let those obstacles and those walls and chains hold you back, because they will. And you can say all you want. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to make it successful. But if you don't bust through that wall, if you don't punch that wall, if you don't climb over that wall, if you don't crawl under the wall, if you don't walk around the wall, if you don't figure out how to do it or how to make it happen, or just forcing yourself to get over that fear or whatever it is, you're not going to get there. You're not going to make it happen. Sometimes the walls are, I've tried it. I did events. I placed ads. Nothing happened. It didn't work. So do something else. Don't stop yourself there. If that didn't work for you, find something that does. Some things that work for me in my business don't work for you in your business across the country. Some things that work for people in other parts of the country, like tossing 500 brochures and getting 50 customers, that doesn't work for me. I can toss hundreds of brochures and I can get a couple of customers here and there, but it's not huge. It's not a huge way for me to grow my business. Does that stop me from tossing? Heck no. When I got 10 cases of books from campaign 25 and 26, they get a label on them that say, did you miss us for the holidays? A recruiting label, a flyer that says, why is there an Avon brochure in your driveway? And those babies get flung out the window on the ends of the driveways because I am not throwing them in the garbage. And so I did that last week, and I got customers. I got a few new customers, and hopefully one of them I would like to introduce her to the business. I think it would be good for her, just based on the conversation that we had when she placed the order. So when I deliver to her, we're going to talk a little more about it. But that's not a number one way that I build my business. And so I can't just say, well, tossing doesn't work. This isn't working for me. What am I going to do? It's not going to, this isn't for me because I can't toss books and get customers. So what do? I find different ways that I'm going to find new recruits and new customers. And I don't let that become something that's going to hold me back. So what other kind of walls? I had some notes that I was going to talk about with, sitting home on my other computer, and I didn't print them and I didn't bring them, and now I have no idea what. I have no idea. I probably should have thought a little bit about it before I started this video, and so I could have written them down so I wouldn't sit here and draw a blank, which is kind of one of my fears when I start doing some of these things. That's why I always do the notes. What other walls? I don't know. Look at the walls in this room. They're pretty, aren't they? I like this. So my walls. So I'm sitting in a hotel room in Indiana, waiting to go speak to a room full of people about my business. It's mind-boggling, really. Oh, here's the walls. These transportation changes, these RPS changes. So sometimes those changes can be our walls. Sometimes we're like, oh, we just did this 2 years ago. What are we going to do now? Oh, I just retrained my customers. Listen, when I started doing this business, my deliveries were all on Friday. I got my orders delivered to me on Thursday. I packed them up that night. I delivered to my customers on Friday. Then I started working because I needed the money to pay the kids' Catholic school tuition. So once I was in the schools working, my customers were getting their orders delivered to them on Saturday. Okay. No one was upset. I didn't lose any customers. Nobody said, gee, Theresa, I can't buy from you now because you're delivering on a different day. I just made it fit into whatever. So I worked for 6 years, and I delivered to my customers on the weekend, and I prospected on the weekend. And when I decided I wasn't working anymore, that I would rather do the Avon full-time, I did more on the weekends. That was my huge, I'm over this wall because that work was killing me. So my customers were getting their deliveries on the weekend. Then when I quit working, I started delivering on Mondays because I told my husband when I was doing, working all week and then doing the Avon on the weekends, that when I quit the job and was doing the Avon full time, that I was going to try and keep weekends free for him and the kids and, just whatever, some family stuff. So I changed my customer delivery days to Monday. I got my orders delivered to me on Thursday. And this wasn't a big deal. I just told the customers that we were going to be, oh, it's Lisa Scola. She's on her way. Yay. So I told my customers, that I was going to be delivering on Monday now. When they called me with their orders, when they emailed me with the orders, I just said, okay, your order will be ready on Monday. And then nobody questioned it. Nobody said, oh, Theresa, you can't deliver on Monday. You used to deliver on Friday. But that was it. Then when... Okay, so I'm almost done here, Lisa. You'll have to wait. So then they changed our RPS, and it was the opposite week. So then I just delivered on the opposite Monday. And I was not a big explanation to the customers. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't, well, deliveries on Monday. Then they changed my RPS to 8, and so I got my orders delivered to me on Monday. So then when the customers placed the order, I said, oh, deliveries this week will be on Wednesday. And if you're not going to be home, leave the money in the door, whatever. That was, it was nothing to freak out about. And so now they changed my RPS. No, they didn't change my RPS, but they changed my delivery day. Now my orders are going to be delivered to me on Wednesday. So I'll pack up the orders and I'll deliver to my customers on Friday. So when they start giving me their orders for that campaign 5, when the changes come in, my response will be, okay, deliveries this week will be on Friday. There's nothing that's going to hurt what I do. It's not going to hurt my customers. You know, and I know some of the representatives. I know that some of you guys work and you have kids and schedules and everything. And I loved when my orders were coming on Monday and I packed them up on Tuesday and I got everything done on Wednesday and they were all out. It worked for me. It was great. So now it's just going to work for me on Friday instead. Which actually is kind of good because now on Wednesdays I can go see my son every Wednesday for coffee because Wednesdays were delivery day and I only could meet him. Like you care about that, but it's kind of fun because he lives a couple hours away and he works in the area on Wednesdays, and so now I get to go see him and have coffee with him Wednesday. So there's my good in the whatever turmoil that's being caused. It's not drama. It's not a big deal. The hardest thing for me is this change is going to be contacting all my downline and making sure they know when their new delivery days are going to be. So that's not a wall. That's not an obstacle. And I see and hear a lot of comments that reps are upset and how can Avon do this? And they're really making things harder on us. Avon's not making things harder on us. The way we're responding to it, we're making things harder on us. That's just changed. Avon's not sitting back going, how can I make things harder for the representatives? That's not their goal. Not at all. So changes can sometimes be our walls, but it's how we respond to them that's going to get us over them or through them or knock them down, or there just isn't a wall. That's just not a wall for me. And for some people, I know it is. I really do know it is. You know, you were delivering to the customers on Friday. That was their payday. Or, you know, now that orders are going to have to sit there for 3 more days till you see those other people. But you'll figure out how to work around it. You'll figure out a way to make it work for you. So, I don't think I gave you guys anything earth-shattering. No super successful tips on how to grow your business or recruit. But that was the wall thing. And this is my huge wall that I'm climbed over and that I'm doing, and I hope that everybody is like, what's you're holding you back? What wall are you gonna bust down? What wall are you gonna bust through? Punch through the wall. What are you gonna do to overcome that wall? Or even if you have to take that wall down a little brick at a time, or with a little chisel and hammer a hole, or dig something under it so you can go under that wall. What wall are you going to conquer? What wall are you going to bust down so that you can be where you want to be in your life or in your business? So that's the thought. That's our walls. All right? So I just realized, too, that the next Tuesdays with Theresa is going to be while I'm in Las Vegas with the senior executive unit leaders for a senior summit. So I'm trying to think what I'm going to do with that. I might do something that I could tie in some seniors. I don't know what the timing will be. Maybe we'll do a fun video or a call with everybody on it. I don't know. We'll think of something. But thanks for stopping in. Thanks for joining us. And I'm looking forward to whoever's coming to these meetings the next couple nights. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. And next week in Michigan, too. So thanks for tuning in. And see you in 2 weeks. Oh, wait, one more thing. Don't forget to get on, whose call is this week? Molly's call is Friday. Don't forget to get on Molly's Onward call Friday. Lisa Wilbur's Monday Morning Madness is next Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Molly's is Friday at 9 o'clock in the evening. Lisa Wilbur's is 9 o'clock in the morning. And Lisa Scola's Success with Scola calls is next week on Thursday. So make sure you turn it. There we go. Make sure you tune in and get turned on to everybody's helpful calls and motivation. And all right, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Bye.